Hello and welcome back to my channel. For this card, I am using some honeybee products. To start with, I have this sheet of vellum, 3 different colors of alcohol markers, which they're all shades of brown. I have this little bottle of 90% alcohol. This is just the same thing you buy at the drugstore or wherever. And to start with, I'm just scribbling my markers all over my panel, kind of randomly, just kind of keeping darkest at the bottom, lightest at the top. I have a straw that I am using to blow around the alcohol after I lay it down on my paper. This isn't some, super precise technique. I'm just going for color variation. And here, I should have taped my vellum down to my work surface. I did not, so I have instead, at this point, because it was curling up so bad, decided to tape it to a couple of rulers. Yes, I now own rulers. Shout out to my friend Kate who sent me some, because if you guys watched any of my other videos where I had to use a ruler, I usually use just like a piece of paper with a straight edge. All right, anyway, back to the card. Every single time I have to lay more ink down, I am waiting until the panel is dry from before. So it's ink, alcohol, blow it around, let it dry, repeat the process until you're happy with the result. And you can do this as many times as you want. As long as it's still holding the ink, you're good. So if you are getting anything from this, it's basically just that this is like a cheaper version of alcohol inks if you already own alcohol markers, because the only thing you really need after that is a straw and some rubbing alcohol. That's at least, I want to say it's 90%. It's got to be pretty high. All right, now here I am taking my vellum sheet. I have a plain white piece of cardstock behind it, and I had done some double-sided adhesive, like a full sheet, right on the paper, and then I attached the vellum on top. And the reason for this is because you will be able to see the adhesive behind the vellum, and if it's a full sheet of adhesive, it's not noticeable anymore. All right, so here I have that Frappe Shake die set from Honeybee Stamps. I have already cut out a card base from that, and I originally thought about using the smaller front portion of the die set for this colored part, and then opted to use the bigger one. I just cut off the extra bits that I didn't need. Now here I have the little whip topping portion that I have cut out. I have inked it up with clear embossing ink, and now I have this. This one's actually from Brutus Monroe. I think it's called like vanilla ice cream or something. I don't know that this one's available. You don't have to have this one. It's just an off-white color. I happen to have it because it came in a set with a strawberry ice cream and a chocolate ice cream one, and I just couldn't help myself. I like food. I like food things. It was cute. It even has a little nutrition facts. Yeah, that's just me being extra. Anyway, after that first coat, I took my clear embossing pen and I added some more lines of embossing powder. I just wanted there to be a slight texture variation. Now here, back to my little panel, I did cut off the top part of it because I don't need that. And you'll start to see my card come together. I have 2 straws that I cut out from that same die set, and I'm just going to ink them up with salvaged patina. Now the reason I have 2 straws is because I wanted them to be thick enough, because they will stand off the card a little bit. I wanted them to be thick enough that they wouldn't like bend or break, rip, whatever. So it's for structure. And I have cut my little slice into the whip topping so my straw could stick in there. I have this acetate piece that I cut out with the front portion of the die set. I'd like to give like actual technical terms for these things. So I'm sorry, you guys. I'm really bad with this. Anyway, this is one of those things where you can see the adhesive through the acetate. So I already know I was going to have something covering the center, which is why I put a little bit of glue in the center. And then I just put dots of glue around the edges. And I was hoping that with the coffee drink being different colors and kind of spotty, that you wouldn't really notice the adhesive very much, which I think it worked out. Like, you can see it if you have it in the light or whatever, but it's not super obvious. And here I just glued the straws together and to the whipped cream. I have my card base, and I'm just adhering all my pieces together. So this coffee piece already has the acetate on the front. I just did that to keep it kind of shiny like a plastic cup. Now I'm attaching my whipped topping. At this point, I was wondering how I was going to attach my acetate lid. And then I decided that if I used some of my Nouveau vintage drops in chocolate chip, I could make sort of a little chocolate drizzle on top. And when I go to put my acetate lid on, it can kind of act as sort of a glue, but it's very intentionally put there. So it did get squished down a little bit. I did think it looked a little better to start with before I put the acetate on top, but it's still fine. It helps keep it down. So that was my ultimate goal. Now I did add a little bit at the bottom of the whipped cream, and I was hoping that would kind of blend in. I added in a couple other spots where I was hoping it would just kind of look more like the whipped cream was melty, maybe. So yeah, especially right here. This is the second piece of the lid. And I did make sure that I smeared the glue pretty much all over the entire piece of acetate. And honestly, I might have been able to do without that little extra bit, but I put it up there anyway. So for my sentiment, I have this Be Bold sentiment from the Perfect Blend stamp set from Honeybee Stamps. I don't know if this one's still available. So if it's not, I'm sorry. There's probably plenty of other coffee themed stamp sets because it seems like a lot of us card makers love coffee. All right, now I stamped that with the salvaged patina, and now I have another just plain piece of cardstock, nothing special. I have ink blended that with the salvaged patina, and I'm going to cut that out. A slightly bigger circle than the one that I stamped Be Bold on. Now these are both from that same die set that the rest of the stuff came from. And I'm just gluing them together. Oh, but first, I always forget some steps. I have 2 shades of Distress Oxides that are brown. This one is Gathered Twigs. And now the second one is Ground Espresso. And I'm just stamping a couple coffee beans onto the bottom of my little circle, just because I felt like it needed a little something else. Now, the dark one didn't stamp the best, so I do take just a brown Copic marker, and I'm going over the little patchy bits. And you'll never know. I mean, except for you watch the video, so you kind of do know. I need to go to bed. All right, so just gluing these together. I'm going to put that on the front of my cup, and that should cover up that little glue spot that I had put up there to attach my acetate on the front. And after that, my card is complete. Thank you all so much for watching. I'll be back with another video soon. Bye!